Hey everyone, it's Evangeline here at etrailer, and today we have the Thule T2 Pro XTR 4-bike platform rack. We'll take a look at how it fits our 2018 Jeep Grand Cherokee. So yes, Thule T2 Pro XTR 4. This is going to be the premium bike rack from Thule in the 4-bike edition. So with this you get a base as well as a 2-bike add-on to carry up to 4 bikes. Your maximum weight capacity though is going to be 160 pounds total, so be mindful of if you have electric bikes to make sure all the different bikes added up aren't exceeding 160. For a Jeep Grand Cherokee, we also installed this hitch receiver for this bike rack. If you do not already have a hitch receiver, you can find a custom fit one here at etrailer.com. So, one of the premium features of this bike rack, amongst many of the features, is that it tilts away. We have a handle here in the middle. Let's lift this up so you can see it easier. And the good thing about the Jeep Grand Cherokee is that it sits high enough that you're not going to hit the ground. So, when you pull that handle, I do recommend lifting up a little bit and then letting it drop. You can bring it all the way down before it stops itself and you're not slamming your hand against the pavement. Some vehicles that are shorter or lower to the ground do have that problem, so I do like this pairing with this car. So we're going to open up the hatch with our bike racks tilted away because now we can reach in there, grab our helmets, grab our waters, maybe even switch out our shoes if we want to, all without having to take the bike off. So that way if we needed to grab something super quick or if we had larger items stored inside our hatch, we don't have to go through that whole process of unloading the bikes. Technically, the process is easy, but once you have 4 bikes on there, it gets a little tricky. And if you do have 4 bikes on this rack, lifting it back up can be tricky too because you're dodging the bikes. So I do recommend having one of your friends help you out with that weight. The good thing is though, once it's in the upright position, it snaps into place and you're now ready to drive. So what types of bikes can this carry? I did mention that 160 pound total weight capacity, but also whether you have a carbon fiber frame bike like what we have here, a step through bike, no matter what type of frame you have, that's perfectly fine because you do have a front wheel mount. Also, on the front wheel mount, you also have this cable lock, so each bike can be individually secured. There's a button there too to access it for when you want to take the bike off. When you do want to take the bike off though, start at the rear wheel. So there's this lever here. This is actually a ratcheting lever. So you press in to release the strap, you pull on the lever to tighten that strap back down. And that way you know you have the firmest fit of the strap on your rear wheel. I'll tuck this out of the way so it doesn't get caught up in our spokes. We're gonna go over to the front. Now here's another thing. With 4 bike racks, there's a lot of leaning over, especially since this is a bulkier bike rack. What I like to do with the bike closest to the vehicle is actually go from the back. So I can press the lever from here, lift up, push this lever out, and now instead of having to reach over and grab the bike, I can just reach and lift up and grab the bike. And now we're ready to hit the trails. So let's talk real quick about tire widths. Notice there on the cradle how it has those different grooves. You have your thin grooves for your road bike tires. You also have your wide grooves for your fat bike tires. Maximum tire width is going to be up to 5 inches. And for your wheelbase, meaning for longer bikes, you can have a maximum wheelbase of up to 50 and a half. Most bikes fit within there, although the newer mountain bikes seem to be getting longer and longer when it comes to the wheelbases. So just double check your wheelbase before getting this rack. Speaking of longer bike racks, this will take up a lot of space behind your car. Measuring from your bumper to the end of the rack by this cradle, that sits at 60 inches or 5 feet flat. That's as tall as I am. So if you have a small garage or need to park into a tight spot, definitely a measurement to consider to make sure you have enough space. Now another measurement is ground clearance. In our case here, from the ground to where your bikes get loaded, I have it at 30 inches. And that's how much height you're gonna have to lift your bikes up to get onto the rack. This does not have a ramp included. So for your heavier electric bikes, you are gonna have to lift a bit higher up. An alternative to that would be something like the Swagman Skaha 2 Plus. That is a 4-bike configuration, looks similar, but that one can get a ramp and bridge attached to it. Now, if you want to make this more portable, you can pull that lever that you pulled earlier again, but this time, instead of letting it drop down to a tilt, we're gonna lift up. And there, it snaps into place. Taking some quick measurements of the portable position. Bumper, end of rack, 16.5 inches. Big difference compared to when it was folded down. In this position, you'll be able to store it in your garage, in your shed, load it up when you need to. Or keep it on your car because it is heavy. You might not want to load it up, take it off all the time. Notice though, with how high up it is, a good amount of your rear window is going to be covered. A little bit of your taillights are going to be covered as well by that front wheel mount. Your rear wheel, it looks fine. For the license plate though, that's going to be covered, as well as the backup camera. The Jeep Grand Cherokee backup camera is centered, so that big mass is going to obstruct it. So definitely rely on your side mirrors as well as your rear mirror to guide you when backing up and going into reverse. While we're here, this does fit in that 2-inch hitch. We have wheels to make it easier to move around, and it's a tool-free install, meaning you don't have to be using any wrenches. You just turn the knob and it tightens down, and you can lock that down too. So my personal thoughts about the Thule T2 Pro XTR is that it is helpful when you want to switch between a 2-bike rack and a 4-bike rack, and you want that premium stability and sturdiness. The downside is that sturdiness comes with bulkiness too. So if you want something more compact, check out the Hollywood Racks Destination 4. That sits about this high when folded up and is a lot lighter. I can lift it with one hand, which is impressive. The downside to that is it has a 35 pound per bike weight capacity, and it does not tilt away. I also mentioned the Swagman Skaha, which also takes up a lot of space, but that one has a ramp and bridge for your heavier electric bikes and a higher weight capacity. Those are all available here at etrailer.com. Check out our videos and pictures to find the right fit for you. But this right here was a look at the Thule T2 Pro XTR 4-bike platform rack on our 2018 Jeep Grand Cherokee.